Okay, and welcome to the first episode of the Alec Frengos Show. This is a sports podcast centered around NBA and NFL, and today we will be talking NBA. I am joined here to my right, Adam Eicholz, and to my left, I'm joined with Joey Price. The topics we'll be covering today is, can the Boston Celtics make a historical comeback and win Game 7? What went wrong for the LA Lakers? Would you rather Jaylen Brown? NBA teams trending up and trending down going into the next season? And the most overrated and underrated player in the NBA. All right. Welcome, everybody. And first, we're going to start with the crazy game that happened yesterday. The Boston Celtics are on the verge of making the most historical comeback in sports history. And I'm going to start with you, Adam. What did you think of the game yesterday?
I thought that game was crazy. I thought it was over way earlier with like 3 minutes left. And then Miami just stuck with it and came up short, obviously. But I think Boston's going to win Game 7.
Yeah, okay.
I think going into that game, winning 3 straight, and then having home court advantage should be a win for Boston.
What do you think going into Game 7?
I think in Game 7, Boston's going to win pretty easily. Tatum and Brown, they didn't make one 3-point shot, and they still won, but obviously with a little bit of luck involved. I mean, they got all the momentum, home court advantage. I think they got in the bag.
Well, this is probably one of the craziest series we've ever experienced, probably in watching sports. 3-0 comeback, everyone thought the Celtics were dead. And then Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart come out and say, don't let us win one game. They got the one game in Miami, Game 4. They came back. They blew out Miami in Boston. And they won this game with the craziest game winner that I've ever seen besides the Kawhi shot, in my opinion. From what I've ever watched before, I'd say that was probably the second craziest game winner I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you put it in perspective, like, 0.1 was left. If he holds on to that ball for like another 0.1 seconds, like, your season's done. So the fact that he got that off in time was crazy.
So that was a crazy comeback from the series and a crazy win for the Celtics. So going into Game 7, what are you expecting? I'll start with you.
I'm expecting both teams to be hungry to win this game. I think Jimmy Butler, he's going to have an incredible game.
Okay.
I think Miami's going to be really pissed off coming into Game 7. But I just think Boston, with their fans, I think they'll take it.
Okay.
That's what I'm expecting.
What do you think?
I said Boston's going to win just because it's home court.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Miami wins because they shot less than 40% last night, and they lost by a tip-in with 0.1 left. So I think if they just hit some more shots, they'll be in a better spot.
I feel like there's two parts to this. Miami losing that game where you had it right there, that's got to be an emotional toll it takes to you, thinking you were right there. But on the other hand, I feel like there's like players like Jimmy Butler is put in a perfect scenario here. People that want this moment, back against the wall, must have, and you got to go out, you got to go into Boston, and you got to do it. Do I think Jimmy Butler is capable of that? I think so, and that's why I think the Miami Heat will win Game 7 and move on to the NBA Finals. So, talking about NBA Finals, the Denver Nuggets have swept the LA Lakers. And so I want to know what went wrong for the LA Lakers. I'm going to start with you, Joey.
I don't think it's more about what went wrong. I think it's kind of just they met an unstoppable team.
Okay.
Murray and Jokic, they literally just didn't miss. They were the best duo in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
You're good.
Yeah, I'm done.
No, I definitely.
What do you think?
I have to agree with that, but the only thing I would say about the Lakers is you can't have your two best players, LeBron and AD, who are really old.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them being like a Western Conference Finals like team and
Yep.
probably losing because they can only do so much because of their age and their body. Like, they got so tired.
That's right.
I saw when I was watching the games, like, LeBron would have a great first half, and then in the third and fourth, he just kind of stands there because he's getting so tired. And I think that's just kind of the thing with that team.
I feel like where the Lakers finally met their match, they didn't have a matchup for Jamal Murray. There was nobody on the floor that could check Jamal Murray. Dennis Schroeder, no. D'Angelo Russell, not even a chance.
No.
Austin Reeves, no. And I feel like a part of the Lakers losing this series, when the Lakers beat the Warriors, they had role players step up to help them win the games. Lonnie Walker, game 4, I believe, gave that 10-point fourth quarter to help them win. Jared Vanderbilt, no show in the series, did nothing. D'Angelo Russell was the worst playoff player this year. And Dennis Schroeder didn't play like he did against the Warriors.
No.
He didn't do anything.
He's just out there doing cardio and playing defense.
Yeah. Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I feel like they did their part mostly.
Yeah.
You can say they did their part, but at the same time, I feel like they needed a little bit more help.
Right.
I also think, though, people said coming into the series, Anthony Davis was Jokic's matchup nightmare. That wasn't the case at all. Jokic dominated that matchup in and out the whole time. It wasn't even close. So staying on the conference finals topic, we're going to get into would you rather Jaylen Brown. All right, I'm going to have a couple names, about 5 to 6 names. Some of these names are very...
Are we picking, like, if it's like a one-on-one matchup, or like if I had my own team?
If you have your own team,
I'm picking.
who do you want on your team? First name, James Harden.
I'm going to go James Harden.
Right now, I'm going Jaylen Brown. You want me to explain why?
Sure, explain why.
I just feel like James Harden I'm not saying wash, but like he's not as good as what he used to be.
Yeah.
He can't play defense. He doesn't even want to. That series against Boston, the amount of games where he didn't even look like he wanted to shoot. He turns over the ball too much. Jaylen Brown's just more efficient. He can play defense.
Yeah.
He's athletic. He can shoot. And I would just rather have him on my team.
This is hard for me. I think I'm going to slightly go James Harden by a little bit. I just think he's the better scorer. He obviously makes more than Jaylen Brown, but they're very neck and neck. Second player up, Jamal Murray.
Right now, I'm taking Jamal Murray.
See that, but that's kind of tough because you didn't hear about Jamal Murray throughout the whole season. You're just hearing about him in the playoffs. But
Which is a good thing, but is it consistent?
I'm taking Brown, honestly.
I'm gonna not go with the slight recency bias. I'm gonna take Jaylen Brown. This is the best one on the list by far. Anthony Edwards. I'll go first.
All right.
I'm taking Anthony Edwards over Jaylen Brown.
I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
Okay. Why do you think?
He's younger, and I saw like a few playoff games where his shot making was elite.
He took over.
Yeah, and he has that dog in him, like at that age too.
He's still going up too.
Yeah, I feel like him and Jaylen Brown, like their games are similar.
Very similar, yeah.
He's just younger. Doing that at that age is crazy.
Why do you think he's better?
I just feel like Jaylen Brown's kind of hit his peak, while Edwards is he's going to get better for the next 2 seasons. He's kind of just entering his prime. I just feel like he's a better player.
I just think Anthony Edwards, if you're starting a franchise, Anthony Edwards is someone that you'd want.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards has proven he can win a couple playoff games as a number 1. Jaylen Brown's been a number 2 his whole career. We haven't seen Jaylen Brown as a number 1. Anthony Edwards, those games they won against the Denver Nuggets, was elite.
Yeah.
He absolutely took over the game.
Yeah.
Fourth name, Brandon Ingram. I'm going to go with you, Joey.
Jaylen Brown, he clears him.
Yeah, I thought of Jaylen Brown right away. Ingram hasn't done anything in the playoffs. Has he even made the playoffs yet?
Last year against the Suns, they went to like.
Yeah, he had a few good games, but he just gets hurt too much too. He sits out a lot of the season.
Me personally, I'm gonna go Brandon Ingram. I think he's the better scorer. I think he defends better than Jaylen Brown too. Jaylen Brown might be a better playmaker, but that's about it. What do you think? Why do you think Jaylen Brown? Just because Ingram doesn't have the experience, really?
Yeah, but saying that he has a better defense than Jaylen Brown, he's lengthy, but I think Jaylen Brown's more of a better on-ball defender.
You think so?
Yeah, I agree. I think so.
Okay, that's fair. Fifth name, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'll go with you.
I'm going Shai easily.
What do you think?
I'm leaning Shai, but he's never touched the NBA playoffs.
But to be fair, though, he's not really on a good team.
The Thunder are coming, but they're going to be good in a couple years, but I'm going to go Jaylen Brown right now, I think.
I'm saying Shai because he just doesn't have that chance to play.
I feel like you people will look at it and be like, Shai averages the 30 points, the 10 assists, the 7 rebounds on a team with not a lot of talent right now.
Yeah.
Let's be completely honest, right? So I feel like if Jaylen Brown had that usage on a Thunder team, he'd be a 30 points per game scorer.
So you think if Jaylen Brown was the first option on another team, he's put up the same numbers?
Depends what team. If he's a first option on the Pistons, he probably won't put up 30.
If Tatum left and Brown was the number 1 option on Boston,
He'd put up 30. I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. You think so?
I think so.
What do you think?
I think he could do it here and there, but for the whole season, I don't think so. Shai put up 30 every night. He averaged 31, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking Shai.
All right, and the last name, kind of two similar players again. Paul George.
I'm going Paul George. I don't care about the age. Paul George is an elite player, offense and defense. He just gets overlooked because he's on the Clippers, and they're not really a big market team.
No, they haven't been good in the recent years either,
And
with all the
yeah,
stacked rosters they have.
and also, I mean, he gets hurt a lot, but he's just too too good of a player.
That's fair.
If I'm starting a franchise now, I'm easily taking Jaylen
Okay,
Brown.
who's the better player right now?
Better player right now, I'd still say Jaylen Brown.
I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna say Paul George. I think he does the exact same as Jaylen Brown, but a little bit better right now. They're very similar.
But he's also never on the court.
But that's true. But I think the better player is Paul George, in my opinion. I'm going to throw in one more here that I don't have on the list. Would you rather on your team Jaylen Brown or Pascal Siakam? I'm going to start with you.
I'm going to go Jaylen Brown. It's close.
Okay. What do you think?
Honestly, I am a Raptors fan, but I'm going with Jaylen Brown because Siakam, he's good. He's good, but he's not that guy. I can't see him getting the ball in his hands late in the game.
No.
You saw in that play-in tournament when he got fouled at the
Smoked
line.
the
He
free
smoked both free
throws.
throws.
Yeah.
I don't want that on my team.
So I honestly think they're in very similar situations. I think that when the Raptors won the championship, he was the second option, a go-to guy around 20 points per game.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what Jaylen Brown is right now. Tatum has the key to go and take 30 shots and score 30 points. And Jaylen Brown does some games like Siakam did, but I think it's very similar situations they're in.
I feel like I would want to see Jaylen Brown be in the same situation because he is.
Yeah.
When Siakam went that 2019 season, he was with Kawhi. Brown's in the same thing with Tatum. I would like to see him on his own team and see if he can do that for a whole season and just be that guy all the time. But I'm still taking Brown right now.
So, moving on, Jaylen Brown could be out of Boston in the next couple of years. So, I'm going to ask you a question on the spot here. Which team would you like to see Jaylen Brown play for if he left the Boston Celtics? I'll start with you.
I think he should go to the Sacramento Kings.
Wow. It's a good...
I think he'd pair nice with Fox and Sabonis. Yeah.
Is he a free agent?
If
Is
they
he an
don't
RFA?
he's up for an extension, but yeah.
RFA?
I believe he's RFA. I have to double check that.
Because if that was a trade, you have to give him a lot.
Do you want to check that? If he's an RFA or not?
Yeah, I will.
Because if that's a trade, you would have to give him a lot for that.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a sign and trade, but not a lot of value,
Yeah.
obviously. They just try to get some value out of it. So what do you think?
I'm seeing Joel. He's saying the Hawks, but I don't know. Like, I'll probably say the Kings as well, but I'm trying to think of other teams that would fit well.
He's eligible to sign a max extension.
This upcoming off season.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, is he a free agent?
I'll check.
I would probably just say teams like the Knicks, Hawks, Kings, like teams that are good, but they just need like that
So
extra,
like play-in teams to sixth seed
a first round
to
exit.
yeah.
Kind of, just
Okay.
teams that kind of need like that extra boost.
Well, this is the team that I thought that's on the rise, but they haven't solidified themselves yet. I think Jaylen Brown, if he were to leave, I think he should go to the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, Jaylen Brown, Ben Mathurin, Miles Turner. That's a core right there. And that can, if Halliburton can take another step up, same with Mathurin, that is a second round team for sure.
I feel like eventually they would be good. I feel like the first few years they probably get to like the second round.
Yeah.
Max, but eventually that team would be really good.
For that to happen though, they also need Halliburton to elevate a little bit
Right.
more.
But and that would come eventually. Yeah.
Any other teams you feel like would be a good fit for Jaylen Brown if he left? I feel like the Hawks one is very interesting because they have Trae Young, who's a very good scorer, right?
Yeah.
And they have DeJounte Murray, the lockdown defender. I feel like adding another scorer like Jaylen Brown would really help that team. They got to get rid of John Collins, though.
Mm-hmm.
So would he go in and deal with it?
I feel like he would go
Yeah.
if they were to get rid of him. But I feel like those are some pretty good hypotheticals for
Right.
Jaylen Brown. So going into next season, give me one team that's on the rise and one team that's trending down. I'm going to start with you, Joey.
My team on the rise right now would have to be the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Interesting.
All of their core players are entering their prime or in it.
Yeah.
I feel like they can reach the conference finals next year, I think. Mobley, great defender, Jared Allen on the interior, and then Donovan Mitchell and Garland playing. I think they just need to get one more wing piece, and they have a really good team.
What type of wing piece? Scorer, defender?
A defender, kind of like OG, but like
Something around that,
Yeah.
like Wiggins, OG, something like
something
that.
a little bit less to
Yeah.
give up.
Okay. And what's your team trending up
Is it just for next year or like years to come?
going into next year? What team has a good future going into next year?
Well, OKC obviously has one because
Okay.
Chet still needs to come back.
Yep.
And they were a playing tournament team, so not bad.
Yeah.
But I'll probably go with the Kings. They
Trending up, okay.
they were a really good team. They just didn't have the experience against the Warriors team that were very experienced.
Correct.
So next year, they just are going to keep on building, and just when it comes to playoff time, they're going to be a better team and more experienced.
Okay. For me, I just mentioned them trending up. I think it's the Indiana Pacers. I feel like this team is bound for a breakout. Tyrese Halliburton was a borderline all-star this year. Was he on the all-star team?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. He made the because someone got injured, something like that. Benedict Mathurin showed that he was a very good rookie this year.
He's only a rookie.
Miles Turner is a top-tier interior defender, premier shot blocker. He gets rebounds. He can stretch the floor as well by making threes. I just feel like this team, if they can hit their draft pick this year, and then they need some veteran guys coming off the bench, right? You need those guys to help lead a championship team. Like we saw the Kings this year. Malik Monk, huge addition.
Yeah.
People like Derek White coming in and saving the day.
Yeah.
Eventually, you just need those guys to come off the bench and help your team win. So for a team trending down in the next couple of years, what do you have?
I think this one's very obvious. I think it's the Chicago Bulls. They honestly don't have any young talent on their team. Nikola Vucevic, he's a free agent. And the Magic, I think they have their first-round pick.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Correct.
Lonzo Ball, he's not playing another NBA game, sadly.
I heard he's.
You don't think so?
He might not ever play.
Yeah,
again.
it's knee injuries. It is sad. So, DeMar DeRozan, obviously, sadly, is on the decline.
And
I just-
Levine.
You think Levine's on the decline?
he's at his peak. He's starting to go down a bit.
Vucevic he just stat padded on the Magic. He's not good.
Yeah, he's not good.
And what do they have off their bench? DeSumo, Patrick Williams,
Kobe White, that's about
just
it.
a lot of mid, right?
I think they should just blow it up, honestly.
This would be a good time. DeRozan send him to a contender, right? Stuff like that. What do you have a team for trending down?
I mean, I might be biased because I'm a Raptors fan, but I feel like it is the Raptors, just because I follow them so much. They just have a bunch of they don't even know what they're doing.
They don't have a direction.
They don't know what they're doing at all. You got a roster that was last year they were a first round exit. This year they were in the play-in tournament and lost the first game.
Yep.
That's not supposed to happen. I think when you just look at players like Gary Trent, last year he had games where he scored like 40. This year in the playoffs he wasn't or in the play-in tournament that game.
Ghost.
He wasn't even playing.
Yep.
And I feel like Nick Nurse being fired was a good thing.
They need a culture reset. That's what they need. They need pieces to go around Scotty Barnes, I feel like.
I feel like a trade has to happen.
But yeah, you saying the Raptors, I thought you were actually going to say what I had. I have the Philadelphia 76ers trending down. Their championship window is starting to close now. Mm-hmm. Looks like Harden's out. They've got a bunch of aging role players. Tobias Harris is nothing worth that contract.
And also,
they paid him over Jimmy Butler. Go ahead.
And also Embiid, he can't do anything in the playoffs. He's supposed to be the MVP, but he can't do anything in the playoffs.
So he'll be the only piece on that team unless they re-sign Tyrese Maxey, who knows, he might want a bigger role.
I don't think he wants to be on that team anymore.
I think he's capable of being a lead point guard on a contender. I think he's very good. But anyways, I feel like the 76ers, they just don't have anything that says to me, this is a championship contender. It's not. It's just not. Embiid doesn't have the leadership skills. He doesn't have the ability to take over a game when it matters the very most. He has never, in his career, I've never seen him just take over a game down the line of a fourth quarter, a closing out a third quarter in the playoffs, anything. He just disappears.
He's the only MVP in history that hasn't made the Eastern Conference Finals.
That just shows that the 76ers, I think in the next couple of years, Joel Embiid will probably be traded because that team will have nothing and he'll just say, I want out.
Yeah.
The process will never complete.
No.
Anyways, we're going to go with the most, in your guys' opinion, who is the most overrated player in the NBA? I'm going to start with you.
You guys just said I think it's Joel Embiid pretty easily. I mean, he's a ghost in the playoffs. I mean, he's a scoring champion, but he gets 15 free throws a game.
Yep.
I mean, he flops every play. I don't like his play style at all.
Raptors fans hate his play style.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Adam? Who's the most overrated player in the NBA?
I mean, I'm not trying to be basic, but I have to agree with that.
Really?
Yeah. Just being an MVP is supposed to be someone that could get you 30 a night in the playoffs when it matters. And you just, in a Game 7 when they were up 3-2, he chokes in Game 6 and he chokes in Game 7. That's not an MVP whatsoever.
Okay, so for my most overrated player, I think it disgusts me. I'm going to go with Julius Randle. This guy
He was an all-star, right?
He was an all-star. This guy is just, he's almost 30, 35 years old, and he's a crybaby.
Oh, he's not 35.
No, he's younger than that.
He's somewhere, anyway, late 20s, early 30s, and
You think he's pushing 40?
and he just, you see him not showing up to the media after he plays bad, and he'll have the odd regular season game, 35 points, sure, Julius Randle, but in the playoffs, what did he, I get he had the ankle tweak or whatever, but what did he seriously do? What has he done? And he's an all-star year after year.
I saw that series, or in the playoffs, during the regular season, he averaged 26. In the playoffs, he averaged 15. You can't have that happen if you're an all-star.
So that's exactly why I think he's overrated, because you can't do all this in the regular season. Oh, I'm an all-star, and you're taking victory laps, and in the playoffs,
Your points per game
collapse. You don't even show up. That's the problem with people. That's how you get labeled as overrated.
Yeah.
Things like that. So we're going to go to most underrated player. I'm going to start with you, Adam. Who do you think is the most underrated player in the NBA? Take your time to think a little bit.
I'm either going to go with Damian Lillard.
Underrated.
Actually, I'm going with Dame. Because I think he's in Portland, and everyone just trolls him because, he wants to stay in Portland or whatnot.
Yeah.
I think he's the second best point guard in the league. I think when you look back to, 2019 and 2020, he was, top 10 player. I would even say top 5. He was really good, and just with everything that's going on with in Portland,
Dumpster fire.
He's just not getting to shine, and he scored 70 the one game this year, and just no one really talks about him that much anymore. I feel like if he goes to a better team, he would be a top 5 or top 10 player for sure.
So, do you think Damian Lillard could lead a team to an NBA championship?
I think if they have the right pieces, yes.
Say you put him in and you trade Jason Tatum for Damian Lillard. Do you think he can say
Okay.
Damian Lillard's the number one.
Okay,
He's got a good role player in Jaylen Brown beside him. He's got all the pieces. Rob Williams, Al Horford, Derek White, Grant. He's got a bench. He's got a second superstar beside him. Do you think he can?
I feel like with that team, it would take him a couple years maybe, but I think he would get to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe the finals.
Okay, what do you think? Do you think Dame could be a number one?
Oh yeah.
On a championship team?
I think so.
Okay, I also think he can too. I think he's never been given the opportunity. He hasn't even been close to be given the opportunity. He's got to the Western Conference Finals once, I think, and they lost to the Warriors, but that's just... He's been put in a bad situation his whole career. Who's the most underrated player in the league, in your opinion?
My most underrated player, he kind of became more relevant this year, but I'm going to go with De'Aaron Fox. He showed how clutch he was in the games versus the Warriors. I don't know how many times he hit late threes to extend the games. And
Every game.
Yeah, every game. And he's really a dog.
Mm-hmm.
He finishes, he can shoot down the stretch. I like him as a number one option.
Do you feel like De'Aaron Fox is underrated?
Yeah, I feel like now he's not because obviously people are talking about.
But he was this season.
Yeah,
He was
this
very
season.
underrated. So, for my most underrated player, I'm gonna go Jaren Jackson Jr. I feel like he is very, very slept on. He's the best shot blocker in the league, won Defensive Player of the Year, and there's still no talk about him being very, very good. This dude is one of the best defenders in the NBA, the best shot blocker. He can stretch the floor, three-pointer, and I just think he has all the tools to be great for the rest of his career. He's playing alongside a very controversial Grizzlies team. Who the hell knows what's going on there right now? Everybody's trying to catch a case in Memphis. But anyways, I feel like Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of these players who's just been underlooked for a big, big part of his career.
Yeah, I agree.
So, wrapping up on NBA, we're going to do a little NFL question, and we're going to go very easy.
Okay.
We're going to go going into the 2023-24 NFL season. Who are the top 3 teams in your opinion?
You want to ask them first?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
I think this is pretty easy.
Okay.
I'd go with the teams that played in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Okay. Who are you putting in?
And
at
then
3?
I'd add in the Bengals. I think they're my Super Bowl pick this year.
Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
I'm going to go Chiefs and the Eagles.
Yeah. Don't do this.
I'm going to be biased, and I'm going to be casual. I'm going with the Bills at 3. Josh Allen's going to have an MVP season.
Calling it right now.
If DeAndre Hopkins...
Look into that camera and say Josh Allen is going to have an MVP. Win the MVP.
If DeAndre Hopkins goes to the Bills, Josh Allen's going to win MVP, win a Super Bowl, and Super Bowl MVP. You're hearing it right now.
Okay, so...
You're hearing it right now.
for me, the top 3 teams, I'm not going to put the Eagles in there. I'm going to go Kansas City Chiefs 1, obviously. No, you hate it, but it's obvious. I'm going to go the Cincinnati Bengals 2. And I'm going to go the San Francisco 49ers at number 3. Have a feeling that Trey Lance is going to have a very big year. I feel like he's going to be the starter from day one, and he's going to have a very, very big year going into this NFL season. I just feel he has all the tools. You've shown that Brock Purdy's been successful, Garoppolo's been successful, and Trey Lance is the most talented QB out of all 3 of them. Drafted number 3. People think they're going to start Brock Purdy.
Why? He popped off last season. Would you not start Purdy over Lance?
I would.
I wouldn't, because you have to give Trey Lance another shot, because a 3rd overall draft pick, they traded up for their guy. There's no reason for you to just give up on him and ship him away right now when you feel like he has all the potential he has. I feel like Trey Lance is going to have a very big season for the San Francisco 49ers and lead them to the number 1 seed in the NFC.
I disagree. I don't think you can put a team without a top 10 quarterback, since it's the most important position in all of sports. I think you need a top 10 quarterback to be a top 3 team.
So the 49ers were a top 4 team last year with Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Do you think he'll do that again?
Well, he got hurt in that game against the Eagles.
Yeah. So I think what the San Francisco 49ers have is very rare. They have everything but a quarterback, and they have the perfect coaching and the perfect system where any NFL level QB can succeed under their system. It's shown Brock Purdy didn't even know if he was going to be on the practice squad cut, and he's starting in the NFC Championship. And he was the reason they got to the NFC Championship. They destroyed the Seahawks wildcard weekend.
Yeah.
Who did they beat the
Dallas.
second round? They beat Dallas, which was a close game, but Brock Purdy gets it done against probably the best defense at the time in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And he was giving the 49ers a run. He was giving the Eagles a run for his money until obviously got the elbow injury. So I think the San Francisco 49ers are unlike a lot of NFL teams. They're able to get a quarterback going and successful without him being the Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrows of the world. What do you think of Trey Lance, honestly?
I think he's pretty good.
Do you think he could succeed?
I think for a guy that Purdy just had his season, you gotta let him have a chance again. There's no way you can just. You gotta let both of them have a chance. You gotta start Lance maybe for a few games and let Purdy start, and then see from there. Because I feel like what Purdy did last season, you can't just bench him because Lance has more potential.
I agree with that.
So, would you have a training camp tryout, you think, between the two? Or would you just give Purdy the start?
I think they should both play even amount in the preseason. Whoever does better gets a start week 1. And then see how it goes from there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. So, I want you to tell me before we end this, what went wrong for the Buffalo Bills against the Bengals?
Honestly, I feel like coaching was
Yep.
terrible.
Yep.
Our defense was just lost. I feel like it was right away, the first drive of the game, Burrow had 3 passes.
I think it was a touchdown pass to Chase, yeah.
Yeah.
And that can't just happen just like that.
No.
And instantly they scored, and I had a feeling that the game was over already. Allen didn't play that well.
He didn't, no.
As well.
So I feel like if the Bills don't have a successful year, and for successful year, I feel like for the Bills this year is making the Super Bowl. That's what I think a successful year is. If they lose an AFC championship, I feel like Sean McDermott is out, and I feel like we could see Stephon Diggs request a trade, as harsh as it really seems.
Yeah.
Because it seems like
You're right about that.
last year he was really fed up with what happened.
Yeah.
And
I feel like also too, Josh Allen's play style has to change as well. I feel like a lot of his passes and stuff like that, he's just scrambling. His O-line's
just chucking it up.
His O-line's not protecting, and I feel like if they have a better system where he can stay in the pocket and make his good read.
Just reads, yeah. Because I feel like,
It'll be
a lot of the time in the regular season, Josh Allen just likes to run around and just make every play himself,
Yeah.
which when you get to the first, second round of the NFL playoffs, that tolls on your body.
Yeah.
Those plays where they're beating the Bears by 14 and he goes for a QB run and
Yeah.
doesn't slide down the middle and tries to truck someone or hurdle them and he gets cracked,
Yeah.
that's going to hurt you later down the line in the season. What do you think about the Buffalo Bills going into next year?
I think they really need to get a good run game going. I think they need to let James Cook get 70% of the carries and see what he can do with the ball. And one thing they really lacked last year was interior D-line.
Yes.
I think Cincinnati, they ran all over them in that game.
Mixon did have a good game. I remember that game. So the Buffalo Bills, their backfield right now consists of James Cook, Damian Harris, and Nyheim Hines, I believe.
Yeah. And Hines, when they signed him last year, he didn't even play a lot.
No, he's a good third down back guy for pass catching, but I feel like, do you think this running back core is good enough to get a good run game going?
No, I don't. I don't think so.
What do you think?
Well, I don't think we have like an elite running back, but it
No.
could work.
I feel like
Possibly.
James Cook still has a little bit of upside, but I feel like they have a very good run O-line right now with O'Cyrus Torrance being drafted there.
Mm-hmm.
They still have a couple good interior pieces, but I think that Josh Allen running a lot has to do with the running backs not being able to get going.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right? Josh Allen, they're designing these quarterback runs for him because there's not guys like James Cook and Devin Singletary last year who could get them a first down. They were better off just giving it to their best playmaker, Allen, and just hoping he makes a play. I feel like that for the Bills has to stop, which I agree with you on that point.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like we have to stay healthy. Our defense, Von Miller got hurt, and he was out. And then Micah Hyde was out early in the season, too.
That did hurt. Micah Hyde
Yeah.
was out the whole
And
season.
both those guys are leaders.
Poyer had lingering injuries and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And yeah, Von Miller, obviously, that was terrible what happened on Thanksgiving, I believe, against the Lions.
Against the Lions, yeah. Stupid turf.
Which needs new turf, right?
Yeah.
Sheila Ford needs to buy new turf at Ford Field.
Who?
Sheila Ford, the owner of the
Owner.
Lions. She needs to buy new turf there.
Yeah.
But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, the first episode of the Alec Frengos Show, and we will see you next time. Thank you.